peeps? Crypto Enigma here. Welcome back to the channel, baby. Yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, we absolutely shall be cheesing Tiger Vanguard's little brother, the Yin Tiger. And yes, as you are about to see, this is absolutely a legitimate cheese strategy. And in fact, I made sure to make this one extra cheesy for you. So if you're frustrated by this boss, then you can stop monkeying around. Try this cheese and get this over with. So, first I have to show you the things that you're going to need in order to pull this off, and the most important thing you'll need is the Hoarfrost transformation. Now unfortunately, you do have to have this transformation in order for this cheese to work. However, you do obtain this transformation in the same chapter where you first meet Yin Tiger. So first progress through the story up to the point where you obtain this transformation and then return to this video. The next thing you're going to have to do is respec, and you will have to distribute your sparks onto the very specific skills that I will now show you. In transformations, you have to max out these 5 skills that you see here. First is Snow Veil, which will increase your frost damage, and you'll see why you need this in a minute. Next, you'll need Evergreen, which will reduce the amount of might that you use while you're transformed. Moreover, you'll need Might Fortification, which recharges your transformation spell faster after you've used it. You'll also need Hidden Might, which will increase the size of your might bar, and this will allow you to stay transformed for a longer period of time. And finally, you'll need Ferocious Form, which increases the attack of your transformation. In Foundation, you can see here that I have absolutely nothing besides this one single skill, Spiritual Awakening, and this maxes out your mana. So get this and pay no attention to anything else on this page, and you can also completely disregard your staff stances because you actually won't be using your staff for this fight, so use your sparks on something else. In Mysticism for Ring of Fire, you'll need these 2 skills: Flaring Dharma, which extends the duration of Ring of Fire, and Raging Flames, which will generate your focus faster when you're standing in the Ring of Fire. Cloud Step is entirely optional, but I gave it Ruse, which increases the health of the decoy, and Bait, which allows the decoy to deal some damage. And lastly, Pluck of Many is also optional, but it can be entirely ignored. More than likely you won't be using this, and what you see here is what I dumped my extra sparks on, but again, I didn't end up using this. Now, the rest of the gear that I'm going to show you is going to help make this method more effective. However, technically, none of this is entirely necessary, and so you can still pull this method off without using the specific equipment that I'm going to show you. But again, as I said, you will be less effective without this gear. Now, as I previously mentioned, you actually won't be using your staff for this fight, so you can just go ahead and keep the staff that you're currently using, or just completely ignore the staffs. You can also ignore your vessels because you won't be using them either. For your spirit, you really should use the Gorai Taoist because he'll raise your attack, and if you are going to use him, then try to upgrade him as much as possible. However, as I said, technically he isn't necessary. Now, your armor is basically going to be entirely irrelevant, but the one piece that I will recommend is the Vajra Arm Guard because it will reduce the cooldown of Ring of Fire. However, upon learning how this method is performed, some of you may be aware of an armor set that actually better complements this strategy, and so obviously you would want to wear that. As for your curios, you'll want to use the Tridacna Pendant, Tridacna, however it's pronounced, which will reduce the cooldown of all of your spells, and the Snow Fox Brush. Now, this one, again, is technically unnecessary, but you really should use the Snow Fox Brush because it will increase the duration of your transformation. So, kind of basically necessary, but not really, but kind of. Finally, the last thing that I really recommend you use is the Mirage Pill because it will recharge your transformation spell faster, and so you really should try to have this, but again, it is technically unnecessary. Now, at the start of the fight, you want to immediately make your way to the right of the arena and position yourself as far into this corner as possible, and then begin charging your smash attack. As you just saw, the boss reacted to me with an attack, but the invisible walls around me confused his AI, so he landed his attack across from me. And so I tested this 1,000,001 times, and I can confidently say that he will always open up this exact same way every single time in every case, forever, but only if you charge your smash attack in this specific corner. This opening will not play out if you use either of your two other stances, and you can test this yourself. Now when he disappears, move slightly forward, and the second that you notice him reappear, release your attack. This will not only grant you one free hit, but it will also lure him into this corner, which is actually what we're trying to do here. Immediately after hitting him, dodge backwards and use Cloud Step. However, it is extremely important that you position your decoy slightly in front of this rock and as close as possible to this invisible wall near this tree here. Then, while in Cloud Step, run to the farthest possible point at the very back of the arena, which is right behind these two plants that you see here, and you'll know that you're standing in the correct spot, which is the farthest possible point, when you notice the invisible walls on both sides coming to a very sharp corner, and you literally can't walk past this point, so just get to the back of the arena. Once here, you have to watch him and wait for him to finish attacking. Wait for him to finish his combo and then immediately cancel out your Cloud Step. So to recap this opening, at the start, run to the corner and charge your heavy smash attack. Hit him, then Cloud Step in front of that rock and run to the back of the arena, then cancel out your Cloud Step. If you did this correctly, then congratulations, you have successfully trapped him. Now, sometimes he isn't properly trapped, and so he can't free himself in those cases. Therefore, you have to watch him for a while first until you are positive that he isn't moving from that spot. Once you are certain that he's stuck, use Ring of Fire and wait until you have 3 focus points. Once you have your focus points, go ahead and use the Gorai Spirit, but try not to block your line of sight. Now, begin your assault. Transform and then immediately activate your special. Now let him have it. Just before you run out of might, be sure to use your heavy attack as your final attack. Once you de-transform, simply wait until you're able to use Ring of Fire again. Use Ring of Fire as soon as it's available, and once again wait until you have 3 focus points. Now you can go ahead and drink your Mirage Pills in order to recharge your transformation faster, and you can see here that I used 2 of them, which nearly filled up my gauge, but not quite fully, so I decided to wait just a little bit longer in order to conserve Mirage Pills. With that done, you can also take this opportunity to refill your mana, which you can do by having the turtle tear in your gourd. And this is another optional item that I actually forgot to mention, so this isn't necessary, but I do recommend having it. Let's get it. As you can see, he actually managed to free himself, so I'm running for my life here. However, I'm not entirely worried because as you can also see, I have full health, all of my spells are ready, I have tons of mana, and I'm just gonna finish him off real quick. And that was that, ladies and gentlemen, the Yin Tiger cheese. Now, before you leave, some quick final notes. You just saw that it actually is possible for him to free himself, and so if this happens with you, all you simply have to do is run back to that rock and get him restuck, which is actually what I was going to try and show you, but as you just saw, I got. So keep your cloud step ready for that exact scenario. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you made it to the end of this video, I absolutely appreciate you, and I cannot stress that enough. But for what it's worth, thank you for watching, and if you happen to enjoy this video, then you may enjoy some of my other content as well, so do feel free to check that out if you so wish to. But again, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I love you, baby.